Velvet Room, a space for an open conversation about Black love, marriage, religion, and generational wealth. Sit back and relax and be prepared for a real discussion and open conversation. Like and subscribe.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Hey,
Hi.
how's everybody doing?
It's been a while.
Good. Happy Mother's Day.
Jimmy, I like that.
You too as well.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, dear.
I like that, Jimmy. I see you.
Oh, Biggie, that's nice.
Some people back can see it.
All right now. All right. Face on
All
top
right.
of face. I hear that.
Did y'all hear me? My bad. I think I was
Yeah, we
on
hear
mute.
you. So how's everybody doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. We had a couple weeks off, but glad to get back to start doing some things. So let me introduce everybody real quick. At my bottom right, I have Miss Sanaa. How you doing, Miss Sanaa?
Hey.
All right. And at the bottom, also have Miss Deeza Rose. How you doing, Miss Deeza?
I am absolutely fantastically great / tired.
I definitely understand that. And right next to me, I got the one and only Mr. Savage. How you doing?
What's going on, people? What's going on? How's everybody?
Hey.
Pretty good.
Go.
And I am Hollywood. But so let me ask you guys, Jimmy, what you doing this weekend?
Podcast all day.
You riding all day, 24/7, right?
Drink too much, actually. Yeah, I decided to, drink, chill out, do things by myself.
Yeah. So now, what you do this weekend?
I recorded a song. I did my motherhood duties, and I took care of my mama.
Gotta take care of the mamas.
Yeah.
And by the way, happy Mother's Day. I forgot to mention that before. I should have said that
Yes,
first
happy
thing.
Mother's Day, ladies.
I forgot. Happy Mother's Day, ladies.
Thank you.
All right. And I got Miss Deeza. Miss Deeza, how you doing? What you got
I
going
am
on?
doing fantastic. I am great. So great. Just got back from Charlotte today.
Okay.
And I'm getting back to my equilibrium for a moment.
Gotcha.
So yeah. Pretty good.
Cool.
Hello, kings and queens. Hello, king or queen.
So I got some interesting topics, but to let you know, the topic of the day for the people that's watching is going to be Kevin Samuel and his impact, and your views of the things he might have said, or your views on him on social media, how you feel about his view, basically. But before we get to that, let's go to hot topics. Let's see what's in the news.
And now it's time for the news. Hot topics.
All right. So Eric is not here today, so I found some interesting news. All right. First news of the day: Mr. Keith Cooper of Chicago, he was the latest innocent victim to be sentenced, and he didn't do anything. He was wrongly convicted. They gave him a whopping $7.5 million in his settlement, and his lawyer wanted to basically expose the system and a pattern of police misconduct in the area. So, do y'all think he deserved $7.5 million? Being wrongly accused and serving, I think, it was like 14 years, I think. Oh, the original gave him 40-year sentence originally, but DNA test database helped them identify the person as a different attacker.
So are they saying what's the amount?
$7.5 million. settlement.
Let's see if he gets it.
No, I think that is a settlement.
Let's see
I
if
don't
he
think
gets
it's
it.
enough.
How many years did he do?
And it's how many years he did, but he received 40 years sentence.
Oh, he didn't get spend any time in the jail, right?
Oh yeah, he spent some years in prison. I can't
How
remember
long?
how many, but quite a few.
I think it should be doubled.
I feel like he should get $1 million for every year that he served.
Right.
But I don't know. Did you guys hear about the brother in Local? Not to get off the subject of this one, but it's the same situation. And in actuality, he had done X amount of years. They let him out, blah, 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 found out he didn't do it. They told him he was going to get X amount of settlement. This is Local. And he never did receive the money. Did you guys hear about that?
I think I saw something about that. I thought that there was I think it said the DA was fighting him getting any money or something like this.
Well, the county stated that they weren't going to give him the money. And so he started going public and making it known. Now, what I started building on was, I wonder how many other brothers go through the same thing. And the public just doesn't know. Like, we're going to say we're going to give you XYZ, but in actuality, they may not even receive XYZ.
Right.
And you're going to end up spending how much to even fight getting your money?
Not
or
to
getting
mention
any money.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Yeah, that's definitely messed up. So, going to the second news of the day. Second news of the day is going to be, now this is funny. This woman is suing the funeral home for giving her ashes, but she buried her husband, request of the second woman. So basically, another woman showed up. What she got, what she thought was her husband, she thought it wasn't her husband. And there's another woman that showed up and changed the date. So by the time the real wife came, her husband really already had been buried. Because evidently a second lady showed up at the funeral home, and she the one that walked away with, said, let me read exactly. You see, we're ashes of her husband in the urn because the funeral home had buried him in 3 days earlier at the request of another woman claiming to be the deceased man's wife. The lady identified his body and showed her marriage certificate. And then, wow.
Escándalo.
Where is this?
This was in, I can't forget, Baltimore. The marriage certificate was from October 1997.
Sloppy. Sloppy.
Somebody
Crazy.
It's just
somebody acting up.
Yeah. All right. So on the lighter note, that this is the good thing. Ludacris had just received his honorary undergraduate degree from Georgia State University.
Luda.
That's right. All right. He said he went to school and he said he never finished his credits. So he just wanted to go back and give his honorary degree. And he said it means the word to him. He just always wanted to make sure when he starts something to make sure that he finish it. That was his biggest thing. So he always wanted to finish. So he finished. So big up to Ludacris.
Yep.
Great job. Black
All right.
excellence.
So we're getting to the topic of the day. This might get a little interesting.
Wow.
Woo, child.
Kevin Samuel, his social media impact and his view on women and men in relationships. How do y'all feel about Kevin Samuel?
I'm gonna go last.
Well, I know what that means.
What was the question? How do we feel about what?
Kevin Samuel, his view on women and men and relationships.
This way.
First of all, he has ruined a lot of friendships. I would say that.
Okay.
Oh, we say that it probably wasn't good friendships. It was probably made for them to not be friends in the first place.
I believe regardless of the quality of his content and the value and the information that he shared upon the masses, his messages caused a lot of division in
Really?
a major way. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, in what
Especially
way?
between the hims and the hers. Yeah.
In what way? What do you
A
mean?
lot of division. Come on, I said I want to go last, man.
I don't know how. Was the message positive?
I would say that the strong-minded individuals did some self-examination after having a chance to listen to what he had to say, right? But a lot of people got their cards pulled in some major ways.
That's a good thing, though. Right?
It's subjective.
Well, all right. So you're saying the message is positive. You're saying it checked a lot of people that needed to be checked, which is a good thing. So why? So basically, the small pushback is just because maybe he should be lighter on people, or maybe people shouldn't have been checked. I don't. What's the pushback on that part?
I don't always think he used his powers for good. I think that his delivery in a lot of ways, well, the delivery that gained the most trajectory, right, could have used some tailoring, some, I don't know. I don't even want to say sugarcoating because it's not that. You know, just there was some choice pieces that people took and ran with and just caused a lot of mass confusion. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
No,
Houston!
Y'all know
What's
what I'm
up?
talking about.
I do not know.
I had to jump in
But
I
you
think
know,
you
though,
play it safe.
I think that Kevin Samuel. I remember the first one that I saw, right, and I thought it was a little cruel. And I think that the thing at the end of the day, he's really telling the truth. It's just so bare and honest. They hit you so straight with it. It's like, for the people I think it offends the most is probably them. Usually when you get a little hot to kids, you have to say something. It causes a reaction. At first I was thinking like, maybe he hates women. Maybe he's gay. Because everything was always like that. But when I really started analyzing what he said is actually true. Basically what it is, and this is true for everybody, we want more. Nobody wants to get something that's equal. So women go after a man. I think that why should she not want something that's better value? But what he's trying to let you know is, at the end of the day, just because you start making money, you start feeling a certain way, you ain't no better than anybody else. Don't put yourself above anybody else. And so he just had a way of breaking them down. Like, okay, but this is where you're really at. You want this, but in reality, you're here. I think we all are sometimes have certain things we want, and we want to be or think we're somewhere else, but we're really here. So I just think what he said was uncomfortable, but it was the truth.
Okay, the word that you used, cruel, is the word that I was looking for. It doesn't need to be sugarcoated, but it seemed like there was some compassion missing in his delivery in a lot of ways. Now, once I was able to listen to his views on men, it was like, okay, all right, this is not a one-sided situation. All right, and I was more open to listening to what he had to say, you know? But initially, he did sound like he really had an issue with women. I was like, okay, come on, dude.
But like you just said, you didn't really get a different opinion till you found out he was bashing men a little bit too. Then you're like, oh, okay, it's okay. Is that what you're saying?
Not the bashing. Right. The sharing of information. I believe that he was trying to make people examine themselves, you know, and consider a different way of thinking, a different way of looking at things. But the first thing that I heard from him was literally him tearing women apart. So I never had a chance to hear anything else. When I saw more of what he was about, then it was like, okay, all right, I can get into this.
You said tearing women apart?
Literally, I was like, wow, why is she on there?
I think it's like self-correction.
I think
I'm gonna get a flag on the floor. We'll get a flag.
Because you know who really gets corrected nowadays? Like who really gets checked without bias?
Yeah.
Nobody even talks to perfect example. When girls go out, you see it every weekend. One of them look a hot mess, the other one don't. They don't tell each other. They be like, "Come on, girl, you hot stuff." No, not.
Girl, you wearing that outfit.
Not like that.
No, listen.
Girl, you wearing
My
that
friends
outfit.
don't act like that.
But you have seen that though.
That is not friendship.
But
that's what I'm saying. So you don't see anybody really get checked. Nobody gets checked nowadays because everybody's too worried about their feelings. Everybody's too worried about this and that, whatever. And how somebody's gonna feel instead of telling them the truth. Nobody can stand the truth anymore. Nobody wants to even say the truth because
I
how it
think
might
we
hurt
get
somebody.
checked every day.
Fuck all that shit. Been feeling stuff.
Well, and I feel like people, when we use self-correction, it's definitely in context of internal self-correction. So if a person's, most people are not interested in fixing themselves. So they definitely, if you're not willing to fix your own individual self, then you're not going to check the person next to you. So like you said, when the girls go out in a group, you know, you may not say the honest truth to your friend because you're not even dealing with the honest truth yourself. So why would I be, you know, telling them as, you know, minute as that? But most times people don't vibe on that level. So you don't try to, you know, there's this saying, it says, I want for my sister what you want for yourself, or I want for my brother what I want for myself. So if you want more or desire more for self, then you should be able to, you know, have that same relationship with your homegirls or your brothers right next to each other. But people are not interested in that. They're more, I guess we're living a surface level life today.
But that's why Kevin said what he says.
And that's why it was so popular. That's why
he was so popular.
Subscribers and viewers.
Is because he didn't sugarcoat.
He didn't do what everybody else asked him to.
Right. He didn't sugarcoat. Now, and don't get me wrong, I think this, to me, is almost like a pastor. I'm quite sure you go into a church, and I'm using that as an example. And the pastor speaks some good stuff, and he says something, you like, I don't know about that. You know, some things we take in and some things we don't. With Kevin, it was kind of that way to me, is that I would listen to what he's saying, and the way he said, he would make it interesting for a show, but he was telling the truth about some things that some people would not listen to. Yeah. If a woman calls in and she's 35 or 40, and she was like, I want my best life, I want this, I want that, and because I have my degree now, I'm expecting to have a man that make $100,000, and I'm not taking anything less. Sometimes she's missing out on stuff because she's not looking at the man, she's looking at what she thinks she's supposed to have.
Right.
And that's what he was trying to break down. He was trying to break down, ma'am, you got 3 kids and you 40.
Right.
A man that's making $150,000 may not look at you, I'm sorry, as a potential mate because he's looking for something different. But you passing up a bunch of great guys that would be great for you. But because he may be working third shift at a job, making $45,000 or $50,000, that's not good enough. Some of the women that called in. Mm-hmm. And those are the women that he was talking about. He wasn't talking about, I'm not gonna say he wasn't talking about the ones that were looking for a man to enjoy life with and to build with. He was talking about the ones that you just got your degree or you just got this, but now because you had this, you expect to get something totally different than where you are.
Well, look at what shapes that mindset too as well. Why does she even feel the need to even think that way? How does a degree all of a sudden be that thing that now you can make all these stipulations based off of? What shapes that mindset in the first place? So it's okay for, I only heard him very, very little, but I've heard much more powerful, knowledgeable men, not knocking him, not one bit, not knocking him one bit, that it didn't you know, for me, I didn't feel the need to have to listen to him multiple times.
I get it.
But I wonder what, you know, why the women feel like this is what, you know, what's shaping that type of mindset in the first place today.
There's a lot of that going on though. And that's why he broke it down the way he did. And
that mindset will more than likely keep a woman from not finding a mate.
Right. And that's what he was saying.
That type of mindset.
That's what he was saying.
Now,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Y'all gotta admit. Now, I remember the first one. Second nice looking girl though. That one I was like, that was kind of. But a couple of them was like, he really hit it on the head. A couple of them was like, okay, he really like, but her mind, what she was thinking is like she was thinking she's either observant or she's more than what she is. And he just having fun ways. He's like, okay, I'm trying to break you down real quick and make us see reality. But that's how I looked at it. Few of them deserved it.
I'm trying not to take over the conversation, so I'm listening.
No, go ahead. What you were just saying is absolutely true. The reason I'm saying I'm slightly different is because I listen to a lot of Kevin Samuels. Not because I'm that controversial type guy. If I hear something and don't understand it, I'm gonna listen to it a lot more to try to understand where he's coming from. With Kevin, he was like this. He felt like we've been sugarcoating stuff too much, even as black people. We've been sugarcoating stuff way too long. And now it's gotten to the point. It's gotten to the point where we can't tell black or white, man or female when it comes to us, nothing. We can't tell each other nothing without somebody going off. And so when you tell a woman that, hey, I'm not love it, Jimmy.
Say what?
No, go ahead. I'm saying I love Jimmy's.
Yeah. He wasn't trying, he would break stuff down to the point. I heard somebody say this and it was so true. A lot of guys may remember this. You might have had a coach, I'll say a white coach in high school that was coaching football or baseball, just as foul-mouthed as possible. And you felt like he's degrading you. But for a man, sometimes it has to come at you that way to break you down. You end up being a better player, you being a better student.
I like that one.
With women, you can't do that in our community. We can't do that. We can't like, babe, no, that ain't gonna work for me. Now you just put on 40 pounds in the last year. You can't go to a black woman and say, hey, this ain't working, babe. You can't do that. They gonna look at you funny and get an attitude.
I think that it's a proper way of, back down to the book that we was mentioned many shows ago, but it's a proper way of handling people. I don't think it's that you can't say what it is you have to say. It's not that you can't be blunt. It's not that you can't speak forward words, but it's also how we deliver what it is that we're saying, especially in dealing with, like you said, a people who is not accustomed to straightforward speaking. So if we're not accustomed and we know that we're not accustomed, that doesn't mean don't say what you have to say, but it's to say, how am I going to deliver this so that they can receive it? They may not agree with it, they may not understand it, that's irrelevant, but it's the way of how you deliver it so that they can regurgitate what it is that you're saying.
Right. That's why they had 1.5 million followers.
And in addition to that, when we are mixed up, like if you go to New York, that's expected. You're gonna speak straight. People speak straight to each other. It's also like maybe where we are, where the demographics is, because like if you're dealing with like people of different nationalities, if you have conversation with them, they too speak very straight. And so American society is sugarcoat. And so they be like, well, people here they're so soft, you can't say anything without offending anybody. But it's actually the culture of America. But there are regions that there are black people that speak extremely straight to each other without being offended, blah, blah, blah. But there are regions that are not able to speak straight to each other. You got to know where you're at and how you deliver it.
Is that all black people, or is that black men talking to black men, or is there a culture where black men can speak freely to women, black women that way? Or I don't ever see that.
I think a man can, but I think it's how you start the relationship out, and then once more back to proper handling of people is how we get. Even if you are in a relationship, is how you're going to give what you're going to say to that individual.
Look at Jimmy.
Well, the thing of it is,
I think you can do it. I think you can do it.
But you know what? If I were to ask you to name me 3 men or I'll say 3 men, 2 men, that you know of that have spoken to Black women in the way that you like and have been able to get this point across?
Oh, I could tell you one of the top Black man for me is Minister Farrakhan. He can speak to Black women like it ain't no business.
Absolutely.
And it goes. That's why for me to hear Kevin, I wasn't knocking, but I've heard so many strong Black men speak and deliver it in a way that you can regurgitate it. So
with
it's
tact and compassion.
Right.
With tact
because
and
you
compassion.
want to bear fruit. It's what's gonna
necessary.
change the person is what you're looking for.
And I get
listen,
it.
actually it is.
When your kids keep acting up because they don't want to listen to you, do you use compassion or you say sit your ass the hell down?
Not all children.
I'm gonna tell you something, Jimmy. Now hold
just
on.
said not all children.
Hold
It's
on.
always going to be not all. It's always going to be not all women, not all children, not all this. The majority.
I would rather utilize compassion when I'm addressing children that are going to be future adults than to traumatize them with my own bullshit. I'm going to use tact and I'm going to use compassion. And they still going to straighten up and line up because I said so. Because what I'm saying is valuable and it's going to correct them in the way they need to go. But I'm not going to harm them in the process of doing so. It doesn't. I don't get no jollies from hurting people's feelings and making people feel bad about themselves. And that's what my problem was. It seemed like he got his rocks off on making people feel bad or look bad. And I'm like, why? I feel like he had the large audience because people showed up for the shit show, not necessarily because people really was like feeling what he was saying.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But to hurt people,
you know what?
looking for a reason to have a reason to hurt people, and he added a lot of fuel to that fire. Y'all know I'm right.
Here's the thing.
Y'all know I'm right.
How did the man get popular?
No.
Because he came with a lot of drama. Like he caused a lot of drama.
They knew every single question that he was going to ask. They knew every single question he was going to ask. They know his tactic. They know how he gets down. But guess what happened almost every day of the week? Same people call in, hey, let me get the same type of shit and think it was cool. So I don't understand.
I never understood
But here's the deal.
Why would you do this to yourself? Right. I never understood it.
She's exactly right. She would never understand it. The reason why, I'm gonna say never, but the reason why she doesn't understand it is because she didn't need to be talked to that way. You said it. You feel like compassion and everything worked for you. And some of those women that called in, they had been talked to compassionately. They've been talked to in an easygoing way, and they were still by themselves and trying to say it ain't no good men out here. And he said, "Ma'am, that ain't the issue. The issue is you. It's not the men, it's you. Yeah. Well, it ain't me. I got my degree. I got my house. I got $30,000 in the bank. I'm doing good. He said, but a man doesn't care about all that. So he would break it down. He would break it down to her because she wasn't accepting it, even though he would start out okay. He said, okay, I'm gonna keep it 100.
I'd like to add, and I can't speak for everybody, but I'd like to believe that some of that comes from sisters who just have not been exposed from day one to a good man. And I'd like to say, because my father is a good, hellified black man. And so I just never had a problem with men. I never sit there and say, well, there's no good black men out there. Never part of my language at all. But because I saw a good black man. And then, so it was like, that's the root of all men. And so
that's what he says.
That's I think probably sisters that gravitated to that maybe may not have had examples, strong examples, not saying bad. I'm just saying not necessarily strong examples. So they kind of, fluctuate in poor relationships and then blame once more, not taking accountability. A lot of people don't want to take accountability. So you're blaming the mate and not blaming whatever's inside of you that keeps on having these destructive or not such positive relationships. Well, then if that's the case, then it's something with you. But it would take me to be accountable for that and since we don't take accountability, then I'm going to blame everything outside of self before I blame myself.
Yeah.
I love how he pushed accountability. I really do. Now that was an area of self-examination that really stood out when I actually did listen to him, you know.
That's the thing.
And I had to really like look and be like, yeah. Go ahead.
That's the thing. He would take one. He did it for shock value. I would not take that away.
Right.
Sometimes, no, without a doubt. But sometimes I'll listen to the show, and he would get a lady that would come into me. I don't understand why I'm not married, or I've done this and done that. And he would ask a certain question, and he'd go, "Ma'am, how tall are you?" See, a lot of times women don't want to hear that. They don't understand. He's like, "Ma'am, how tall are you?" "Okay, you 5'2". "What's your dress size?" "I'm gonna drive 16. "Okay." He's not knocking it. He would knock that. Let me take that back. He would knock that. But now he's saying you're narrowing your circle now, because see, a lot of men may not be attracted to that.
Yeah.
So he would just be straightforward about certain things. And then he said, "Ma'am, and now you want a man that makes $100,000 or $125,000 a year because you want a certain lifestyle. But that man that make that kind of money may not be interested in a size 16 at 5'2".
Yeah.
So he would be straight, but he would say it in a way that it was a little tougher than I just said it.
Yeah. But
And
you know what though?
No, it was a lot tougher than how you just said it. It was way tougher than how you just said it.
Yeah,
But
it was.
It was way tougher than I said it. But if I said that,
Might have been abrasive even.
right?
Yeah.
But if I said that same thing to a woman on a broadcast like we're doing right now, and she was asking me questions, and I said, "Look, a man he's not gonna be interested in somebody that's 5'2", dress size 16. Well, I got a girlfriend that she married to a nice man, and she a big girl, so and so." See, you just jumped to something else.
Yeah.
I'm
But
telling
you know
you
what, though?
the narrative is.
He actually started off though. A lot of people don't know. He really started off on the dudes. That's how he started.
Killed the dudes.
Yeah,
He
that's how
killed
he
the-
started. Right. But
killed
it's a one episode. I do remember that one. And really, he really went in the area. She probably had some self-esteem problems. The way he just broke it down, I don't really think I really agree with that. But what really makes it work for Kevin Samuel that any person just can't do is that he had the image. He was a guy that was successful with money, and his demeanor. He was always very cool. Said always he got together, wasn't easily rattled. Here's one thing I love that he would do. He'll let you tell your story. Then he gets started. He said, "Hold on, wait a minute. I'll let you talk." The way he would do it is like the dude was just bad, man. He was just smooth with it. And any other person, just a regular Joe that's not making the type of money, regardless, it would never work. Everything just lined up for him.
But now let me say this, because I don't know how true it is, and I don't want to necessarily stick to his money. Because I'm going to say it like this: even if Kevin was completely broke, some of the things he said had value. Now, the reason why I say that is because it could be a fake story saying that he only had $1,000 in his checking account, and his family trying to do a GoFundMe page to pay for his funeral. So I can't say what was real and what was fake about his lifestyle, but the words that he used, let me say that back, what he was trying to get across was to let people know, hey, if you want something different, you got to do something different. Even for the men, he was like, look, if you're 25 and you ain't working but 40 hours a week, your ass is slack.
And see, that's a problem too, because why is it that he can say it about the men and nobody says anything, but we say it about the women?
Because
nobody
nobody cares about
Yeah, and
the
that's
men.
kind of a general thing, because I'm
It's
looking at it
always-
like nowadays in 2022, you got a lot of people working on their businesses. You got people who are out there shaking. You don't have to even have the 40-hour job anymore. So to say, if you're not working 40-hour jobs, I was like, this is 2022. They are getting it. They're getting it out here.
Well, here's the
Well,
thing.
see,
Everybody's not getting it.
Oh, well, everybody's not getting it. But
Right.
if it's a general statement, I'm going to say, because that's a general statement. If you're not a man, you're not out here pushing all these hours, then you're not.
Right.
They don't
Now, he
have to be
wasn't
on the job
necessarily,
to be pushing it. They pushing
Right.
it. They're pushing
but he
their vision.
didn't necessarily, and maybe I misspoke. He didn't
Okay.
necessarily say you had to be working a job 40 hours. If you ain't working 40 hours, whether it's in your business or you working 25 hours on the job and you working your business the rest of the time, you need 4 to 6 hours of sleep and you need to get up and be grinding.
Yeah,
Is his statement,
Yeah.
is what he's saying.
totally
So
agree.
you can get to that level to get that woman that you want. And it's the same with women. He was trying to say, look, you're spending all these hours going to college to get a degree. but you don't spend 4 hours a week going to the gym or doing something different. That's what he was trying to say.
Yeah.
Because men we're visual creatures.
Yeah.
Men
I
will
totally
spend-
agree with that.
Yeah, some men will
Totally
spend
agree.
that I won't do this, but some men will spend $800 a month so they can ride in that smooth Lexus and
Yeah.
work extra hours because of the look.
Yeah.
A man to go to work extra hours and do whatever to keep his woman happy. If she's looking the way he wants and making him feel a certain way,
Yeah.
I'm getting up, going to work early.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grind my business. I'm gonna talk to a new client.
Yeah.
Jay made a statement. I'm sorry, I'm calling you the wrong name. Jimmy
Whatever you want
made
to
a statement. My bad. About how nobody cared when he was
Jay Savage.
when he was talking about the men. You said we didn't care. I don't think it's so much that. If it's anything like with me, I didn't even know he had anything to say about men until after all this viral women stuff. You know. So that may be what it is. We just didn't know that he was talking to men.
Here's the
Well,
thing.
we
they,
Go ahead.
they didn't know that they were talking to him because nobody cared.
But that's his right. He's right.
You know,
You know what I'm saying? Nobody
that's
cares.
not how
They were
that
like, oh,
works.
That's not how it works for you.
That's not how it works.
No, that's
It
not how,
can.
like Houston said, it's not how it works for you. Kevin
Because-
Samuels even said it. I put it. I was out there on YouTube. Nobody came. Nobody gave a shit because this is normal. Everybody
And-
puts men down.
And guaranteed, I bet you most of his followers are women.
Yep. Soon as he
Oh yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
even know because I only ever
no,
heard
he
men
says
talking
this.
about
We do
him.
know. He says this.
Like I didn't hear
This-
women
This is
mention
what he
his
said out of his own
name.
mouth that nobody.
But
gave
you know
a
why
shit.
you didn't hear women mention his name when he talked
Because-
about men?
They wasn't talking about women.
No, period. Like anybody I ever heard mention him was a man. Like anybody who ever talked about what he was doing, his videos, whatever, was
When-
a dude.
how long
Like have
ago
you
was
seen
this?
this? Probably within the past year.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Because in the
Yeah.
past
That was the
year,
past
Men.
year.
that's when more women started talking shit about him.
Here's the thing.
Okay, all right.
Here's the thing. The reason why men gravitated to Kevin Samuels is because one, he was speaking some truth. Two, it made us look at ourselves. Now, when you start trying to tell women that, hey, you know, you need to do this and you need to do that, men, we automatically know, damn, I need to get my stuff together because if the women start doing what they're supposed to do and make me look happier or want them, I got to step my game up. We know that as men. We get told that every day. If I step to you at a gas station or see you at a mall and, hey, excuse me, can I talk to you for a minute? If I'm busted and raggedy, you're going to look at me like, boy, if you don't go somewhere and sit down. You might not say it, but it'll show on your face.
Right.
So
No.
men, we get told, no, a lot of women, we kind of get told that just by our conversation. Now, the guys may not admit it right here. How many times have you walked to McDonald's, Burger King, or Fish Mart, and you see a sister behind the counter and you go, damn, why is she working here? We can still see interest in that woman. But if you see a dude working behind the counter at the Fish Mart, you ain't a bit more clocking him because you know he ain't making money like that most of the time. Now, you two ladies may be different, but a lot of women would not be interested at all. At all. So we get checked all the time. You can't check a woman sometimes. You can't turn a woman down because she's trying to figure out why you ain't interested in me. It doesn't come across that way. Kevin tried to bring that up. That's all.
Yeah.
And he brought up some uncomfortable conversations I think that we all need to
I
be
thought
having.
his oh, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
You got dark over there. Where's your light there?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just it keeps going away.
Yeah, I said I think he brought up some uncomfortable conversations that we need to be having. I think it's the reason why people get so agitated because it's uncomfortable.
I think that's what's important. I mean, if we take away how he said it and just took the, I mean, to be honest with you, I was going to mention that to you guys. It'd be great for us to have conversation. Kevin Samuels' window sitting over here. He say something and we may have a conversation about it. It opens the door.
Right.
It opens the door.
Plus, I mean, to be honest, keep that this is, you know, I'm talking, we're going to keep it a band. I'll be honest. If someone is overweight, they're overweight. If someone is skinny, they're skinny. If they're 5'5", I mean, there's a chart. Most of us probably are overweight anyway. So, he told me.
We can't say that it's fat shaming.
Yeah, gotcha.
Oh,
Gotcha.
cut it out.
But
Cut it
listen, we all know in the black community, fat and thick, we got our own little definition. So for some other
I don't
races,
even care. I'm a fat girl.
that definition
I
is
don't
different.
know. Like, listen, I don't see, because we can sit around the dinner table and smack all goddamn day on a greasy day. Oh, like, I'm gonna gain weight today, but somebody gonna be like, "Hey, you gaining weight?" You're like, "Oh my god, don't talk to that." It don't make this like a big ass oxymoron like the whole fucking time. It's like you can sit around with your family and talk about how big you are, how much you eat, show how much you eat all the time. You know what I'm saying? And then be cool with it that way. But then when somebody like, I'd rather you lose a little bit of pounds. What the fuck are you talking about? Lose pounds? Yes, the same shit that you said you was gonna lose before. What the fuck you talking about? Like, I don't understand.
I see you.
It's such an unnecessary. Maybe we should say it a little nicer. I don't know.
Well, let me do this. Let me say this.
Usa.
But look, let me say this because I don't want to ever think
like,
about.
Are we going to advance as humans, or are we going to stay stagnant? You know what I'm saying?
Jimmy,
Like, what is going on?
Listen, Jimmy. I know I'm a fat girl. I don't need anybody to tell me.
Because
I look in the mirror every day.
I'm just saying, don't sit there like, hey, if somebody says, I'd rather not or rather, don't get upset. Like, what's the point of getting upset? Enjoy who you are.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't honest with themselves either.
And let's not stick just with that level of talking about weight. Because what Kevin was trying to say was, if you're looking for a certain type man and you want him to make this kind of money and have this kind of lifestyle, to make your chances better of getting a man like that,
then you got some work to do.
Right. This is the lane that you need to be in. It's because if you walk in the room,
it sounds better that way than it used to be honest.
Well, that way too.
It's that delivery.
All right, here's the thing. If you really pay attention to Kevin Samuels' delivery, he starts off with a disclaimer. He tells you, like, I know people talk, don't talk over me when it's time for me to talk. Blah, 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 blah. Real calm and cool. And he also says he matches your energy. If you come up on his panel with the ratchet shit, he's going to get ratchet.
I match your energy.
He tells you that shit. So I don't understand. And then people still come like, fuck you, Kevin. No, fuck you too. What you mean? Like, hey.
Yeah, he
like,
likes to match energy. Now, he did get off on matching energy.
That's what he does.
And he'll tell you, if we start this calmly, we can end this calmly. Right. Now, when I ask you your height and your weight, and I say, okay, you overweight, and then she go, well, whose standard you going by? Black men, light women with weight on.
But though, man, see, that's what's so cool about him. It was his approach. His approach, right. Like, he was still had that thing about him where, okay, he's doing it the right way. He's not going too, he wasn't too aggressive. He's always just too real mild man, so you can still listen to him talk.
You could, but some people didn't like it. If he said, well, girl, when he hit that little button, wah, 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 which is his overweight tone music.
See, that's petty. There's no reason to be that petty.
But you know what? It's television, it's YouTube.
It's social media. And guess what?
He was giving a show.
How do we even know these sounds?
But I do want to add on, he was a young man when he passed. So, I would say he was a young man. So you don't want to match people's energy.
Speaking of energy, with that being said, it's probably going a little off topic, but they said he was with a younger woman before he passed, and while he passed. So he was trying to match that energy, and he couldn't match that energy.
But it was not successful in the end.
Well,
I just say that he was young.
Let me say this. I remember this guy said this one time. Jesus Christ only lived to be 33 years old.
He was killed.
Well, he's still on a little bit of point. The point is, regardless, we have a set date. We just don't know what it is. And when it's going to happen, it's going to happen. What's really more important is the legacy you leave behind, and you have a purpose. What's more sad is that we live in a day and no one's serving a purpose. And then at your expiration date, you never serve it.
But sometimes we will ourselves out. Sometimes we will ourselves out.
Wait a minute. Now, if that's the case, now we can also recurse our own selves. So you got to be careful that. Exactly. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Maybe that was the day he's going to expire anyway. Maybe that was the day. But still, the point is he had a purpose, and we're talking about him right now. He left some good things about himself and some bad things, but I think at the end of the day, it still got us talking about some positive things and things we can talk about. So he served his purpose. I don't think that maybe the expiration date, we don't know what we say about when a person's supposed to die. We don't know.
He said that path.
Well,
It says Samuels rose to popularity in 2021 following several viral moments capturing segments from his online show in which he would offer dating consultations that would often turn into berating lectures. I think that's totally fitting because it's not even about the tact or anything else. It overall just really.
But after the first time though, and you already know what the show is about, then you just didn't get what you deserve. You already know what it is. Everybody ain't that slow. If you saw a show, and that's the reason why you called in. So if you call in, it's on you, bro. It's on you. You already know what you're gonna do.
But you know what? Some of the women that called in literally called in for some advice.
Yep.
They really did. They called
in.
If you've seen them, you already know. You should already expect it. You already know you're gonna go there.
And he would bring up subjects like, "Ma'am, let me ask you something. Why did you call into the show with a bonnet on your head, laying across your bed?"
The bonnet. Yeah, not the bonnet.
Exactly.
That's a valid question.
You know,
why would you do anything in
with a
public
bonnet on your
with a
head
bonnet
saying
on?
that you can't find a good man when we got 5,000 people watching this show right now that men get to see you?
Yep.
Because it's the standard. The standards are off. They can say it, but we can't. That's just where it is.
Man, I guarantee if roles were reversed, that would be. They'd be like, look at this nasty dude. Look at this. It'd be cool. Nobody.
Because I'm sorry, but Jay-Z hair. I'm sorry,
man.
bro.
Okay, it's
if
cool.
he didn't have money,
Just
I'm
the
sorry.
man.
Right. I agree.
Well, see, Jay-Z is handsome to some women. He has very strong African features. Let's just not. Let's just not. Let's just not.
Don't try that.
Let's just
that money
not.
make it look a bit better. You
Let's
can't
not.
Don't try that.
Jimmy, all women don't believe in downing men.
Well, we know that. We know that.
Cut it out.
We know it's not all women.
Everybody doesn't show up to
Nothing is all.
Can
Nothing
we
is all.
do this?
I'm not doing the all something. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing the all something.
Can we please stop doing that? If someone says a majority question,
I'm not doing the all something. Hear me out.
Do you guys remember when Monique
made
a statement like, I don't know, within a year that she was telling sisters in Atlanta to get dressed? You remember she's tired of going to the airport seeing sisters in like pajama bottoms and house shoes and do-rag, all the kind of stuff. And they, of course, some sisters received it, and then there was a lot of sisters that just be like,
they tore her to pieces. They tore her to pieces.
Yeah, tearing her to pieces. It's the same thing, because Kevin's trying to say to women, like, well, that is true. Why are you wearing this bonnet right now on the show? Why do you have this bonnet on? And it just reminds me of what she was saying, like, sisters, why are you going to the airport in your pajama bottoms? Like, literally, are we still talking about this in 2022? Get it together. You leave the house,
but you know what?
Be dressed.
Here's the thing. The reason why they're going with the house shoes on and their pajamas, and I've heard women say this, because it's my damn business.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
All right.
That's what they said to her, right?
All right, y'all, check this out.
Do y'all think that's more of a class issue than necessarily a black woman
lack
issue?
Of refinement,
do you think that's more of a socioeconomic status and environmental issue? Really?
But you know what? There's a lot of people in that environment and in that class.
All right, can we move on to Velvet Letter? All right, here we go.
Okay. All right.
Sit in for male and female. People just like you and me. The Velvet Letter. The Velvet Letter. Velvet Letter. Somebody juicy. Hot.
So, this is an interesting letter.
Uh-oh.
Right on topic. All right. So, I had a friend convince me to call into the Kevin Samuels show. Ever since I appeared on the show, I'm having the worst time finding someone, and worse than before I called in. I think my appearance really shook my confidence. What should I do?
Ooh.
What is your opinion?
What she
Go
had
get-
on.
Appearance on just being on the show, period, I'm thinking is what the person meant.
Well, I think if she's having a harder time, I would ask, how was she acting on the show? Like, if you're going for advice and you stay civil, you stay calm, why would it be harder?
I'll be down in a minute.
I think
she
she
was
would
going
get
up
some
to, well, Kevin, I don't care about this. You know what I mean? With the bonnet and all that.
Not the bonnet.
And you know what, though, at the end of the day, I think the main thing is don't let nobody else tell you who you are. You know, so if it doesn't apply to you, you don't apply, then let it fly. If it has to, but if you feel some type of way, it has to apply. Because otherwise, if someone said there was a thief in the room, you know you're not the thief, so what you gonna get upset about?
Can you imagine going on the show and changing all of the things that were said and still can't get nobody?
I mean, yeah, that can happen because that can happen because everybody's not going to get one person. There are 2 million more women. There are 2 million more women than there are men. So somebody's not going to get anybody.
But did she say she changed?
No, there was not that much detail in this letter.
Not the bonnet. The bonnet.
Maybe it may have been the bonnet. I don't know.
Maybe she was the one.
Funny.
She started AKA the bonnet.
The bonnet. Bonnet Bay.
Yeah. I don't know if somebody either get some counsel or really she can't. She might need to try different hair, do a different wig or something, look different, so they can't recognize.
I'm going to take it from a serious
standpoint. If you find the strength and beauty in yourself, it'll glow all over you regardless. You know what I'm saying? If you find that inner peace, that love and feeling about yourself, somebody's gonna come storming towards you because they
I
see
totally
that.
agree.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Or maybe, I mean, he said everyone may not end up with someone. So even so, I think it sounds like the biggest focus, like you said, Jimmy, is just self-love, worried about you, making sure that you are at your best at all times. And that's all that really needs to matter.
That's all.
Maybe that's why people aren't gravitating to their mates, because they have not found self-love. It's not all the exterior things. It's not because she's this way, he's that way, she's too big, he's too small. It's none of that. It's all of that. What we grab onto that, but that may not be what it is. It's how you feel about yourself and how that individual feels about themselves. And if you two genuine, authentic, loving, spiritual, or even non-spiritual people, you can pull together and gravitate. Like Jimmy would say, you just gravitate right with each other. And some people on your outside circle be like, well, how come you the one that has somebody? Because you're the light. You're the radiant.
Yeah. But what were you saying about more women? What did you say? What was that Debbie Downer comment you made?
Which one? Who? Me?
I don't know your name.
Houston. You talking about as far as 2 million women, more than 2 million? Yeah. Statistically, there's like 2 million more Black women than there are men. Or 2 million. I think it might be 2 million more women, period.
And they say why? Do you remember why?
No, I don't know why.
It was prison. It was incarceration, homosexuality, deaths, and maybe one more.
And
but yeah, it's a problem with the Black community.
And stress.
Yeah, stress is a big one. So it sounds like we need to either have some prison bays,
right,
or some interracial dating, or have a beard and just be with a homosexual man. Like, it sounds like the odds are very slim for love. That was a stressful response.
Just because you said that, I'm going to research, because I don't think that's really true, but I'm going to find out before I say anything. I don't think it had anything to do with men in prison, down low, or anything. I think even if they counted the men that are in prison and the women, period, I think it was still 2 million, a deficit of 2 million.
I actually think it's more than that, Houston, because I saw a stat that said 17 women to every one Black man.
Yeah, so I'm just saying available men.
No, period. And then you start subtracting the people who are in prison locked up.
Right.
Social media have women think, especially on the dating side, there's an abundance of Black men, but they're not.
There's not, unfortunately.
And the thing of it is too, you know, and they don't want to hear this. A lot of women don't want to hear this, especially Black women. outside of the ones that we do see, there's not like abundance of white men coming to get black women. So if you don't get brothers, you really don't have much of a choice because
Even though I
there's
think
no
a lot of
other
white
races.
men really love black women, though.
No. I'm not saying they're not going to have fun with it.
Love
talking about
how.
that.
I don't know
Like-
about love.
Like, love how.
I know about lust.
Strong
I know about
word.
lust. I don't know about
Right,
love.
yeah.
Exactly.
Like-
Yeah.
That's not
Maybe
love.
that.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know
That's
about
totally different.
All right,
That's
y'all.
just, they just want to ride that train. They ain't trying to buy the train.
Exactly. The train that they
Yes.
see on social media, the example of the black woman when she's doing the clap with her behind.
Right.
So that's what they find attraction.
Objectification.
I woke up.
Black
I woke up. I heard somebody clap in the behind. I woke up.
Clap, clap.
You said we.
I
You
would
said we
stay
like
out of
it.
that one.
You said we like it. You said we like it.
Yeah, we do like it. Now
Hey.
we don't necessarily want our woman doing it all the
Want it
time.
on social media.
Hold on.
For the
I
world
like
to
it
see.
once in a while. It's like it's everywhere now. Like you be in the middle of the street and you stop at a stop sign. Oh, my song! Jump out and you twerk it. Like goodness, me. Twerking at children's parties. You got the children twerking with you.
TikTok.
The TikTok is on.
I
there.
saw two
It's on
moms
commercials
doing it at
now.
a basketball game for a competition, a high
They
school
got
basketball
twerk
game.
competitions at a basketball game. Come
Two
on.
moms out there dropping it like it's hot.
I cannot.
I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Golly.
Jim, you got some sex facts?
I just looked at one. I have to say this one because it's freaking hilarious. It's freaking
You got-
hilarious.
Wait, you
Huh?
can do it now? I'm
I
just
got-
right quick.
I got just one for you.
All right, but let me do the intro. I work hard on the intro, Jim. Let me just
I
do
like
the intro, okay? Okay, here we go.
Oh, you got to do it.
Sex facts. Sex facts. Sex facts.
Man, I love that picture, yo.
I look like I look like
That picture right there, yo.
I look like a,
Nice.
I look
You
like
need
a
to see
mole.
Dino with that one, bro.
Transporting
There you
drugs. It's
happened
like I'm
to the
transporting
beard?
drugs and stuff. Huh?
Yeah, you do.
What happened to the beard?
I just decided to change it up a little something.
Okay.
So this sex fact goes out to all those lovely ladies with the butterfly eyelashes. And when they blink so heavily, they can fly away. So
As I call
did
it,
you know? Check this out. Hilarious. Did you know that the first cock ring was
Okay.
made of goat eyelashes?
What?
So,
Really?
ladies, instead of
That's why the girls be falling out. Y'all know y'all can scare a girl, he'll just fall out.
Oh God.
so instead of wearing it to the club, you know where you can go with those eyelashes. You know where you can go with those
Sir.
eyelashes.
Sir. Excuse me, sir.
Hold on, did you make that up? I just thought about did you make that up?
Oh God, that is funny.
Oh, for real.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
don't get it. I don't understand.
That might would work. That little brush across. That
I
might
looked
would
at a
work.
goat's
Oh,
eyelashes
goat
and said, that would make a great.
exactly.
So make a nice little tickle toy.
That is funny. All right, you
Then
guys,
this one's gonna go back.
we're at the end of the day. Let me go ahead and get this set up real quick. And thank you everybody for tuning in. Give me 1 second here. Sanaa, something what you got going on, where can I find you?
So I am on youtube.com/C/QS Queen Sanaa. And I'm also on Spotify. Just look up Queen Sanaa. And I have a couple of new singles coming out, and there's lots of good music already there. So I hope you enjoy.
Inbox me
cool.
so I can connect. Definitely.
Thanks.
All right. And Mr. Jim, what you got going on? Where can I find you?
If you don't know by now, it's SAVAGECOM.ENT. Savage Comedy Entertainment. Check me out on YouTube. Just type it in. You'll see my beautiful logo and my beautiful face right there.
Cool,
Without the
cool.
eyelashes, though. Without the eyelashes.
All right, here's what you got. What you got going on, man? Where can I find you?
All right. Houston Bonds, VMG Media and Marketing. VMGMarketingNC.com is my website where we do all types of design and marketing material for people. Websites, business cards, and commercials.
Cool. All right, Ms. Diesel, what you got going on? Where can I find you?
You can find me at imagedesignstyleagency.com. It is all for the empowerment and growth of the Black woman and child. Also, the subsidiary of It's Glamour. And you can find that on Facebook as well as Instagram.
Cool. All right. And I am Hollywood, the host of the show, and we have a couple of shows, Meeting in the Ladies' Room and Man Cave Conversation. Hopefully next week we'll start back with the Man Cave because we can't wait to get back started again. Other than that, I will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.